Welcome to Sound Test. This is Brian here. Today we're going to talk about the Sonic Central presentation, as well as some of these leaks for the upcoming Sonic game in 2022. So the Sonic Central was kind of like a first thing that Sega's ever done regarding kind of making a Nintendo Direct style video presentation. I think we all remember the 25th anniversary live stream and how much of a beautiful disaster that was. But this was way better organized, way better put together, and you know, it's a format that we're all pretty much familiar with thanks to Nintendo Directs. With Sonic being such a massive brand, it's kind of crazy that they didn't have this idea before, because Sonic does stretch in so many mediums, and this presentation does a great job of showing us how many different things Sonic is in. I do want to mention the symphony, the live music symphony for Sonic Music, which I am so excited for. It's widely known that Sonic's music is just pretty amazing on almost all fronts, but almost never do we have a live orchestra playing the music back. So I'm so excited to hear how they take these old Sonic tunes and put them in on real live instruments and hear it on just like this well-arranged orchestration of that. And it's going to be free, so that's even better. So we also have a Sonic costume in the Tokyo 2020 Olympics games. This is insanely hilarious. I might buy the game just to play as Sonic. I just love how aggressively he throws the basketball at the camera. And the fact that it's somewhat realistic. It looks like somebody in a Sonic costume. It's just not Sonic in the real world. It's somebody in a Sonic costume, and that's what makes it so much funnier. So, Sonic the Fighters is coming to Lost Judgment, and Lost Judgment is basically the like a spin-off series of the Yakuza style of gameplay. And this is pretty interesting because we had a really great port of Sonic the Fighters back on Xbox 360 and PS3. You can still play it if you have an Xbox One or Xbox Series X. But outside of that, there's just no other way to play that game. So it's kind of cool that they're actually somewhat porting it to modern consoles. So this one was the thing that everybody saw coming. So this was leaked quite a bit ago, the remaster of Sonic Colors, which, what took you so long, Sega? Sonic Colors was kind of just always stuck on the Wii. I enjoy Sonic Colors. It's a pretty fun game. Gets kind of weird at the tail end, less enjoyable at the tail end. But the art design in Sonic Colors is just gorgeous, man. The colors that they use and how much they was able to get out of just the Nintendo Wii was insane. I think you see all the time people get it on Dolphin and, you know, push it to HD visuals, and it looks fantastic. So now that we're finally getting a proper, HD remaster of this, and I'm excited to see how it looks on 4K on PS4 and Xbox consoles, this is going to be stellar. Also, look at this thing. That baby Sonic is horrifying. And I'm going to get it physically just so I can have it. That thing looks like nightmares, and I want it in my house. So there's also this Sonic Colors kind of animated series, mini animated series. And you can tell it was kind of on a lower budget just because of the style of animation, but I'm all for it. Sonic and animation has kind of had a long, varied history, and I'm glad Sega is still exploring Sonic in the animated realm. Whether it be small stuff like this or full stuff like the Netflix show that should be coming out pretty soon. Okay, so this is another announcement I'm super excited for. Sonic Origins, which has Sonic 1, 2, 3, and Knuckles in CD. So if you're not hip to it or aware, historically Sonic 3 has been the hardest one to kind of port over, not because of hardware limitations, but because of just kind of music licensing things, and the fact that it's finally coming back is so great. Now, the thing that everybody's kind of like wondering about is we clearly see in this footage that Sonic 3 and Knuckles is in the 4x3, while all the other footage was 16:9, based off of the Taxman mobile ports, which was another like kind of contention that a lot of people had with Sega, because Sega constantly reissues and reports Sonic 1 and 2, but it's always based off of the Sega Genesis version of those games, meaning they're in 4x3 and they don't have the enhancements that the Taxman versions did. And it was the Taxman version was kind of like the definitive way to play these original games, but they were just stuck on mobile hardware. So you would have to go through really roundabout ways just to play Sonic 1 and 2, the definitive versions of those games, as well as Sonic CD on your big screen TV. At the very least, Sonic CD did get a PC port, and I believe it may have gotten the Xbox 360 PS3 port. I'm not quite sure, but at least got a modern console support for that title. But yet Sonic 1 and 2, we kept on getting these kind of subpar versions of that. But the most thing I'm excited about is Sonic 3 and Knuckles. That is like up there with my top Sonic game. I played that game endlessly as a child, and to finally see that Sega's giving us a new modern official release of it is so exciting. Because as it stands right now, the only way to play this Sonic 3 and Knuckles legally, other than getting the actual cartridge itself, is to buy it off of Steam. And while that version's fine, it's clearly not the, enhanced what we have from Taxman, enhanced versions where there's 16:9 and extra features. Another huge thing is that kind of like shortly after this presentation, Sonic's social media manager did confirm that Sonic 3 and Knuckles is going to be widescreen. So the fact that they're going to be widescreen makes us all believe that it's probably going to be the Taxman version. Now, only other thing that I'm a little salty about, they showed Sonic 1, 2, and 3, and Knuckles, and Sonic CD, which is a good amount of games. But we've had Sonic collections in the past that had way more games. Another issue is the Game Gear Master System games. They're just kind of stuck on old hardware. Like, the only way to play those, again, is either if you have the original cartridge, or you get Sonic Mega Collection Plus and Sonic Gems Collection way back on Xbox and GameCube and PlayStation 2 consoles. That's pretty much the only way. Now, there are some 3DS ports of those games, but if I'm not mistaken, not all of them are on the 3DS. On top of that, we still are missing Knuckles Chaotix, which still to this day has not been ported to anything other than the 32X. So, one of the other announcements was the King Ice collection of Sonic jewelry, and these are like blinged out Sonic chains. And look, you know what? I ain't mad at you, Sega. These are kind of dope. I'm not gonna lie, I kind of want the Shadow one and the Sonic one. And I looked on the King Ice website. They actually do a lot of branded stuff. They do stuff for Xbox, Nickelodeon, and a whole bunch of other properties, and they're not priced bad. The ones I've seen, a lot of the stuff range from $80 to $150, which honestly is not a bad price for these things. So I think I'm legitimately going to buy one or two of these chains. You also have the Dark Horse Sonic Encyclopedia, and I think this is going to be a definite day one purchase for me. I just love all things Sonic, especially in terms of like the media and just the broader scope of everything that Sonic has to offer, whether it be the comics, TV shows, the games, the artwork. I just love it all. And I'm starting my collection of video game art books and video game centered collectible material like this. So I am definitely going to get this. Okay, so the kind of big meat and potatoes of this discussion is going to be the newly announced Sonic game for 2022. So this was a teaser trailer that they released, and they didn't give us much information on it, but we eventually found out more information than we were supposed to know about it. So in this trailer, we see Sonic running in a forest. We have these like weird digital pixel block things going on. He super speeds past. See the Sonic Team logo, so we know who's developing it. Sonic does this kind of weird marking, and it shows us this weird looking sign or symbol, and just gives us 2022. So there's a few things. We first see this in one of the kind of theories going around that it looks like maybe a stylized version of the word zap. So maybe it's Sonic Zap. Other people said, oh, maybe this is a Sonic Adventure remake because he's running in the forest like he was in the Sonic Adventure original, opening. Don't really buy that at all. I think that's a bit of a stretch. And I think if Sega wanted to tease us of an idea of a Sonic 1 remake, Sonic Adventure 1 remake, they would have gave us more clues than this. They would have played some part of Open Your Heart or showed Chaos. They would have known how to hype that up. So I don't believe that it's going to be a Sonic Adventure remake. However, we do see a few interesting things. So the animation already is kind of something that everybody's looking at. So when we see Sonic running, we see his body looks a bit shorter than normal. A little stubbier. The legs are not as long as we usually see for modern Sonic. But we also see the way his body moves. He kind of dips to the side and over. Very much not the traditional arms back and kind of like torso forward that we usually see in modern Sonic. And you see he kind of has a dip and sway as he moves. And I want to freeze frame to when we actually see his body. So this is a good example right here of kind of Sonic's proportions in this little teaser. His body does look noticeably shorter, and his stomach kind of looks a little bit more pudgy. So I also saw a lot of people saying that this kind of reminds them of the original Sonic Adventure model. And the original Sonic Adventure model was kind of a little pudgy, and it was a little shorter as well. And it looked like a fairly close to what Classic Sonic was, but just with the green eyes. But as we kind of went on, that art style kind of refined more with longer legs, much more slender body for Sonic overall. And that's how we kind of got to what we call the modern Sonic style. So right here, we see Sonic we see his model, and it does look a little shorter than normal. Now there is some squash and stretch going on here in the animation a little. So that may be, warping the actual image of it. We don't get a really good look at his eyes, but you could kind of tell they're still using green eyes, and the spines look kind of normal like we usually see. And then right here we see the full, arms back, wide legs, long legs kind of run that we're accustomed to. And then Sonic goes into this kind of fast ball of lightning. We see this huge aura, and then he shoots off. And then while he does that, we have these kind of weird lines and like pixel kind of digital looking thing speeding from him. So usually when they have teasers, it's some type of indication of what new mechanic is going to be in the game. So maybe there's some type of mechanic where Sonic's able to go super fast in, a split second, or, maybe it's like an evolution of the boost formula, or maybe there's some type of power up or enhancement, which is causing these digital lines or these digital streaks to come from Sonic. And then, of course, there's that symbol itself, where Sonic creates this symbol. And it forms a rock kind of pattern from it. So maybe this new super speed ability, maybe it's used for like attacking or terraforming, or who knows. So shortly afterwards, however, people started to put the pieces together, and there was a leak that happened months ago, and a lot of people kind of just push it to the side as something that's just, you know, something that's not plausible, not believable, because it had some kind of absurd claims to it. But then we kind of got a confirmation that maybe those leaks were true. So from this point of the video, I will be talking about the leaks. Now, obviously, leaks cannot be, you know, trusted as the proof, nor can they be, you know, considered this is what is exactly going to happen. So if you just want to stay in the dark for this is your time to exit. Otherwise, everything from this point on, we're going to be talking about those leaks. So few things kind of leaked out after the Sonic Channel presentation. So one of them is this. There was actual code from the actual trailer, and it kind of says right there, Rangers _ teaser BG. And this was associated with the teaser trailer, and so it's kind of plain day that it's called Sonic Rangers, apparently, or the game is something Sonic Rangers, or it has something in the title of Rangers. So how do we know that Sonic Rangers, that's truly the title of the game? Well, it's because Sega themselves kind of leaked it. So for the initial press release for Sonic Central, Sega actually name dropped Sonic Rangers in the actual press release. So the initial press release had the following: announcing new console experiences, Sonic Colors Ultimate and Sonic Rangers. Further details on Netflix, Sonic Prime, mobile news, musical events, and much more. Read the press release sent to Eurogamer last night via email. So this is what was sent to Eurogamer, and it was essentially that was going to be the thing that was going to put online. Then they realized it was a mistake, and the press release that is available now says, announcing new console experiences, Sonic Colors Ultimate, and further details on Netflix's Sonic Prime, mobile news, music events, and much more. So they literally went back and took out the mention of Sonic Rangers. Sega basically confirmed it themselves that the game is called Sonic Rangers. So why is that fact important? Well, it's because of a much bigger part of this, and that is the leak. And this leak came out quite a bit ago. This came out in January, and I'm going to read a few things about the leak. So this original leak originated on 4chan, which almost immediately makes it a non-starter in terms of conversation. But this was posted January 6, 2021. And it specifically said in that leak, Sonic Rangers, new Sonic game by Sonic Team. This is back in January. We basically got the confirmation that the game is called Sonic Rangers immediately after the presentation, when Sega accidentally leaked the name themselves. So I highly doubt that somebody would have already knew the title of the game and it would make a fake leak 4 months in advance when everybody else was on complete radio silence for this event. Mind you, we also only found out about this event the week of. So this is not something that somebody was able to plan out. They leaked this quite a bit of time before the event itself. So this person was apparently a focus tester for the game. And given that this leak came out in the very early of January 2021, That means this person was playing and focus testing this in 2020, which makes sense if the game is supposed to come out in 2022. So here's a few things that they talked about the game in the leaks. Open world is populated with small enemies, puzzles, and platforming challenges. Completing puzzles, challenges, enemy rewards, experience, which can be redeemed in the skill tree. Skill tree unlocks abilities like the spin cycle, in which you hold Y, Sonic starts tracing a line behind him, and you finish in a circle, which attacks all enemies inside the circle. Lock-on attack returns. There are bosses spread out throughout the open world. Defeating them grants orbs. If you gain enough orbs, you go to a portable and then go to cyberspace. Cyberspace levels are generation style levels, and the music goes hard. Beating them fast enough grants Chaos Emeralds. Exploration and combat was super boring, very button mashy, but whatever. New voice acting by Roger and no one else was present, so they're definitely sticking to the general theme at least. Then he also mentions some things about a final boss, regarding a giant tree robot, and having all the Chaos Emeralds and becoming supersonic, yada yada yada. The main thing I want to pull from this is it's open world, and that's really different. So yes, Sonic Adventure was technically open world, but it was very small sandbox in which Sonic could interact in. Obviously, in 1998 standards, it was a pretty big world, but the hub world in Sonic Adventure 1 was more to facilitate you going to different areas to go to the levels. It was kind of just like a glorified level select. It wasn't what we, in a modern sense, think of an open world. In a modern sense of the open world, we typically think of things like Grand Theft Auto and Assassin's Creed, or more recently, Breath of the Wild. So the idea of Sonic being in an open world is kind of a really scary territory, and I'm not quite sure how they're going to pull this off. So here's some other things about the leak. They mentioned Breath of the Wild type shrines, but they're like puzzles spread around the map, not like separate things or separate little puzzles. He said there are Korok seed ripoffs where like you have to kind of find things around the environment, and they have Ubisoft style towers where essentially once you climb that tower, once you reach the top of that tower, it unlocks a bigger portion of the map. So here's a few other things that they said about it. Puzzles and platforming were very uninteresting. The sense of exploration was not there at all. It was just a focus test, so they're testing the waters and seeing how people were like and how they would adjust to that. There was also another leaker who kind of talked about it right after the presentation, and they kind of say some of the same things. Open world, some type of combat system in which you're, mashing a button to attack, the Ubisoft style towers, the skill tree, the orbs and the portals. They kind of mentioned that stuff as well. So where do I fall on this? I think it's possible. I think it's very plausible that you can make Sonic work in an open world. And there's a few kind of key examples why this could work. So this is the first reason why I think an open world Sonic game could work. So what you're seeing right now is footage of Sonic Utopia, which is a fan-made game, but it essentially puts Sonic in this giant sandbox, and kind of just allows him to go free. And the scope of this fan game itself is even pretty amazing. And I like seeing Sonic Utopia as an example because Sonic Topia is essentially a recreation of 2D Sonic in a 3D world. Very similar to how Nintendo did with Mario with the Super Mario 3D World or 3D Land series, in which they took principles of 2D Mario and put it into a 3D plane, not necessarily making a 3D Mario game. And that's what this kind of reminds me of. So you have a giant sandbox with just a lot to do, a lot to explore, and a lot to see. Now, is Now, is, Sonic Team going for something like this? Who knows? And again, we won't know till we get there. But based on what we see on the leaks, no, that's not what they're kind of looking for. It seems like more of a traditional action game. But this idea and this concept can very much work with Sonic in a 3D space when we're talking about an open world game. So another example of an open world Sonic game is this, which is Sonic Project Hero. And it shows, obviously this is kind of a more proof of concept, but it shows Sonic in this large 3D world. And this seems to be somewhat based off the physics of the Hedgehog engine, where things are a little bit more slippery, a little bit more fast paced, which makes Sonic a little less more controllable. But you can see this, another idea of this, where there's just things specifically there for Sonic to interact with, for Sonic to dash at, and just large planes of, interactive elements. This game also features other playable characters like Tails and Knuckles, and that's another huge thing that's kind of been missing out of Sonic games for a very long time, and that's the ability to use other characters other than Sonic, because Sonic has this wider range of characters and different playstyles that we can adapt to. It'll be really cool to see Tails and Knuckles finally make a return, especially in a 3D world. So probably the biggest criticism everybody always has is, well, why doesn't Sega just redo Sonic, the daytime stages of Sonic Unleashed, or just make a Sonic Generations 2? That's what we're all been asking for. And yes, that's what fans have been asking for, but you got to understand that that is a double-edged sword. So the footage you see right now from Sonic Unleashed, this takes a lot of time and effort to create these large stages. And the problem is with these boost style gameplay is that these stages get done and completed in like literal minutes. So it takes Sonic Team months and months and months just to create a single stage, but the actual end user completes it in a few minutes. And by the time you master all the, shortcuts and intricacies of the level, you're basically playing it to speed run. The problem with this is the gameplay, they spend a lot of time making the game, but the game gets completed in almost no time. I love Sonic Generations, but if we're being realistic, in terms of content, it's less than 10 hours of actual gameplay. Yes, you can go back and get better and get better times and things like that. But if you're just playing it through your first time, you're going to complete that game in an extremely short amount of time. Now, we're constantly talking about content in game and the value of a game. This industry is trending towards $70 games. So if the industry trending towards $70 games, can they realistically justify less than 10 hours of gameplay experience for a $70 purchase? For some people, it was hard to justify that for a $60 purchase. And that was one of the reasons why Sonic Unleashed became the way it did. Sonic Team knows this. Sonic Team realizes that they can only do so much in terms of content. And so that's why the Werehog stages existed. They padded out a lot of the game. And a single Werehog stage could get to pretty much 30 minutes of just gameplay for one stage. Compared to, as you see right here, 2 minutes. 2 minutes and 18 seconds for one daytime stage. So when it comes to Sonic Team trying to balance out the amount of content in the game and the value of said content, that's when we have issues. Look at Sonic Forces. Sonic Forces was a notably shorter game, but it was also a $40 game at release. And it was critically planned, more so on the level design, but also of the content of the game, as it pretty much featured daytime style stages of Sonic Unleashed mixed in with a few 2D sections. Another problem is other Sonic games, 3D games in the past, did have much more content, but they had different styles of gameplay. You look back at Sonic Adventure 2, And I can easily put 60 hours into a gameplay of Sonic Adventure 2. That's just because of the wildly different play styles with between Sonic, Knuckles, Tails, and their respective counterparts, but also the Chow Garden added so much more variety. Then you had the go-karting section, the multiplayer stuff, then all of the missions where you was trying to get the highest ranking. There was a lot of content in Sonic Adventure 2, but at the same time, you had completely different gameplay styles. Sonic wasn't as fast in the boost era games as he was in Sonic Adventure 2. So therefore his stages were actually a bit longer, and parts of it requires you to explore. For like the Chow, for instance, the Lost Child, it required you to explore stages, things that you can't do in the modern boost formula. So to put Sega and Sonic Team in a very uncomfortable spot, how do they justify getting a certain amount of content for a certain amount of price? And as you see, the Sonic games are getting way further in terms of game releases. So, you know, how can you justify there being a 6-year gap between games with gameplay that's only about 10 hours? So making Sonic an open world game where just by nature you're going to have a large amount of content for having an open world and exploring things and having side missions and things like that, that's going to greatly pad out gameplay and how long a single user is going to be playing that game. So I'm cautiously optimistic when it comes to how Sega is going to handle this new Sonic game. They have a lot to make up for in terms of goodwill of the fans. Making Sonic work in the open world is definitely going to be a challenge. And from the leaks that we've read about, they're not going the Sonic Utopia route or the Sonic Project 3D World route. They're kind of going with a more melee-based action game feel. And don't personally agree with that, but those impressions were from 2020. This game is set to release 2022. And usually Sega releases Sonic games in the fall, usually around October, November. So with that being said, Sonic Team does have quite a bit of time to really refine the gameplay, really take feedback seriously, and possibly see how people are responding to these leaks and try to fix that and or come up with different gameplay styles for this new Sonic game. We also, can't undermine the fact that Sega was affected like everybody with the pandemic. So who knows how this affected development of the game. So again, it's kind of hard to give a final verdict because of these leaks, because they happened so much longer ago. So much time has passed since those impressions, and we have such a great amount of time before this game itself comes out. So I'm going to keep my fingers crossed. I will buy it. I know I will. But our perception as fans for the Sonic franchise largely is based on the things that Sonic Team constantly pushes for in terms of evolving the Sonic formula. There's a lot of people who love the boost style games. There's a lot of people who love the adventure style games. But Sega and Sonic Team kind of had to take that, first step out, do something creative and try something new and see if it sticks. As we saw, the adventure style stuck for a while. The boost style stuck for quite a while. So we'll see if this new idea, this new direction for Sonic with this open world, we'll see if it sticks, and we'll see if Sonic Team can land a home run on it. So only time will tell how this game will turn out. So my name is Brian. This has been Sound Test. Thank you for rocking with me, and thanks for watching.